Imagine this. You've shelled out a ton of cash for that perfect ski day. You're all geared up, only to show up and find total chaos. Well, for thousands of skiers over the 2024 holiday season, that was the reality. And it ended up ripping the cover off a huge change that's been bubbling just under the surface of the entire ski industry.
So, what went down at Park City Mountain Resort in Utah? I mean, this wasn't just a few bad days. It blew up online. It went totally viral. And it became this breaking point, shining a massive spotlight on some really deep cracks in the way the ski business works now, a model that's been changing the game for more than a decade.
And this number, this is really at the heart of all the frustration. Get ready for it. $354. That's what it costs for one person to ski for one day during the holidays. I mean, wow. If any number captures the crazy expensive, super crowded world skiing is turned into, that's the one.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the meltdown itself. Then we'll talk about the epic revolution that got us here. We'll look at the, let's call them, unintended consequences for the people in the towns. Then we'll see if there's a different way to do things. And finally, we'll ask the big question. What does all this mean for the future of skiing?
Okay, so Section 1, the meltdown. What in the world actually happened at Park City? Well, it was basically a perfect storm of everything that could go wrong, all hitting at once during the busiest week of the season.
So check this out. It's like a domino effect. You had over 200 ski patrollers, the pros who literally keep you safe on the mountain. They were on strike. They're fighting over wages. Okay, so without them, Vail Resorts can't safely open the whole mountain. And the result? Chaos. Fewer than half the lifts were even running, and just a tiny fraction of the trails were open. This created these insane, hour-long lift lines that you saw all over social media. People were furious, and the backlash was immediate. And get this, Vail's market cap dropped by $1.5 billion. That's a B. But, this whole disaster didn't just pop up out of thin air. To really get why it happened, you have to rewind a bit. We've got to look at this game-changing business strategy that Vail Resorts came up with. A plan that pretty much rewrote the entire rulebook for how to make money from snow.
Okay, so here's the absolute key. It's all about shifting from a gamble to a sure thing. Think about it. The old way, ski resorts were basically just gambling every winter. They'd pray for snow so they could sell those super expensive day tickets. But Vail's new idea, the Epic Pass, just flipped that whole script. They started selling this one pass that got you into a bunch of different resorts, and they sold it cheap, months in advance. So they locked in all this revenue before the season even started. It didn't matter if it snowed in December or not. They went from a high-price, few customers model to a low-price, tons of customers model. And boom, suddenly their business was stable and predictable.
And to make that Epic Pass a no-brainer, Vail went on an absolute shopping spree. I mean, look at this timeline. They just started gobbling up resorts left and right. Not just the huge, iconic ones like Whistler and Stowe, but also a ton of smaller local mountains. Every single time they bought a new resort, the Epic Pass became that much more valuable, which pulled in more skiers, which made them more money to buy more resorts. You see the cycle. It was brilliant.
And did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. Just look at the numbers for 2024. A whopping 65% of all their money from lift tickets came from Epic Pass sales. And even crazier, 75%, 3 out of every 4 people on their mountains, was a pass holder. They took the season pass, which used to be just for die-hard locals, and made it the main way everyone goes skiing. Okay, but all that financial success, it came at a price. This new model of packing the mountains and owning everything, well, it had some serious and often pretty negative side effects. And those ripple effects were felt by the mountains, the towns, and especially by the people trying to make a living there. So consequence number 1, it's just crowded. Everywhere. Think about it. Once they have your money from the pass sale way back in the spring, what's their real incentive to make sure you don't wait in a 45-minute lift line? Their goal is to sell as many passes as humanly possible, but the actual experience of skiing on a packed mountain with endless lines, well, that's your problem, not theirs. And this problem goes way beyond just the lift lines. Check out this number, $1.5 million. That was the average price for a house in Crested Butte, Colorado in 2023. And get this, that was less than 5 years after Vail came to town. It's an absolutely jaw-dropping sign of what happens when one of these giants takes over.
And that leads us to the second consequence, the hollowing out of these awesome little ski towns. The Epic Pass unleashes this flood of tourists and people looking to buy a second home. Real estate prices just go nuclear. And the people who actually run the town, the lifties, the patrollers, the bartenders, they can't afford to live there anymore.
They get pushed out, sometimes having to commute for hours. It's like a deal with the devil, right? The town gets a ton of money, but it kind of loses its soul in the process. This chart just spells it out perfectly. It's impossible. So Vail bumped their minimum wage to $20 an hour, which sounds okay. The ski patrol in Park City, who have a super skilled and dangerous job, were only asking for $23 an hour. But then you look at that last bar. The cheapest apartment you could find in Vail was $2,100 a month. You can't make it work. The math literally does not add up.
And here's where it gets kind of wild. This quote, this is from Vail's own mission statement, to create the experience of a lifetime for our employees. But then you put that right next to the image of their ski patrollers on strike because they can't afford rent, and you see this huge gap between the corporate talk and what's actually happening on the ground.
So with all this, you might be thinking, well, I guess it's either Vail or their big competitor Alterra. That's it. But hold on, it's not the only way. Because in the shadows of these two giants, there's a different movement bubbling up. An independent spirit is starting to fight back.
So let me introduce you to the Indy Pass. It's basically the anti-Epic Pass. Its whole philosophy is the complete opposite. Instead of buying up every mountain they can, the Indy Pass just partners with independent resorts. It's designed to send skiers and their money to these awesome smaller mountains, helping them survive and thrive without turning them into the crowded parking lots you see at the mega resorts.
And people are getting even more creative than that. Take a look at Black Mountain in New Hampshire. This classic little ski area was bought with this really cool idea in mind, turning it into a co-op. So instead of some corporation in an office 1,000 miles away calling the shots, the mountain would be owned by the local community and the people who ski there. They'd have a real say in its future, not just in making a profit.
So when you add it all up, the chaos at Park City, this whole business revolution, and this new independent pushback, it's pretty clear the sport of skiing is standing at a major crossroads.
And really, it all boils down to this one core conflict. On one side, you've got this super smart business model that's amazing at making money for shareholders. It's predictable, it's powerful, it's successful. But it's clashing, head-on, with everything that actually makes people fall in love with skiing in the first place. A great day on the mountain, healthy towns with real communities, and just the soul of the sport. And all that stuff is getting squeezed.
At the end of the day, that whole meltdown at Park City wasn't a disease, it was a symptom of this much deeper tension. And it forces all of us who love this sport to ask a really tough question. In this constant drive for more profit, are we accidentally killing the golden goose? Is the skiing industry about to lose the very magic it's been selling all along? So can skiing have both profit and powder, or does one always have to win?